MMA Boxing Talk here. This is a recap video for Chris Weidman versus Kelvin Gastelum. It happened last night, and Chris Weidman won a third round submission over Kelvin Gastelum. Arm and triangle choke. Great performance by Chris Weidman. This was a much needed win for his career, for his job, to support his family. I mean, hats off to Chris Weidman. He came in his hometown, Nassau Coliseum in Long Island. This is where he grew up. He went to college right across the street. He used to go see, New York Islander games growing up as a kid in Nassau Coliseum. Always dreamt of, performing there, doing whatever, playing there someday, whether it was hockey or fighting. He made the walk. He got the job done against a tough, and talented Kelvin Gastelum. I mean, Gastelum took some heavy shots in that fight. Weidman was cracking him with some nice shots. His striking looked much more precise. He also looked not as normally. Weidman in his fights, he's such a big, strong guy with great wrestling. He comes forward. He's the aggressor. This time he kind of picked his spots. He was smart, fought very, very smart, and hats off to him. And it shows him evolving a little bit. He had to get better. He had to change things. He also, I don't know if you watched in the, I think it was the countdown or whatever, him going to driving an hour, a couple days a week to do, new generation training with, I don't even know how to say it, or describe it, but high tech training facility that's has nothing to do with MMA. It's all about performance based, period, and that with his being calm, it really showed, and he did great in this fight. And yes, he got dropped, but to get up and recover so quickly and then go out and win that second round. With all the pressure on him, I mean, hats off to Chris Weidman. Always been a big fan of him for a long time now. It was in between the Machida fight and the Vitor fight where I just, became a fan. And, he had some tough times, and a lot of his losses, they weren't, the fights were, he was doing well, he was doing okay against Rockhold until, he threw that spinning wheel kick, and it's not an excuse. I mean, maybe he would have lost the fight regardless if he didn't throw that kick, but it went downhill from there. And then the Yoel Romero fight, he was winning up until that flying knee. The Mousasi fight was kind of weird, so, but that one, I really have nothing to say about that one. I thought Mousasi was winning it from the beginning of the fight, but I mean, great win over Kelvin Gastelum. I don't really know what's next for Chris Weidman. I mean, he called out Bisping, and I know Whitaker's out for months now because of his knee. It's a more serious knee injury. He's going to have to get surgery. He's going to be probably out for at least 6 months, before he starts training, or maybe it won't be that long, but he's going to be out a long time. He won't come back till, probably a year from now. Who knows? Hopefully not. Hopefully it's not as bad as, and, he recovers quickly, Whitaker. But in the meantime, who does Bisping fight? Yoel Romero's coming off a loss. Rockhold coming off of a loss, but he's fighting in September against David Branch, who he should be able to beat, but there's no guarantees. And, I mean, so, I guess it's a good time for Chris Weidman because Bisping's looking to fight at the end of the year. Weidman said he's ready to go at the end of the year. But, I don't know. It's tough to give Chris Weidman the shot when he's skipping guys like Rockhold and Romero, who both finished Weidman. So, but what the fight I like is Chris Weidman versus Jacare Souza. I think that fight makes a lot of sense. I think if Luke Rockhold beats Branch in September and, comes out of that fight unscathed, he ready to go back into the gym, into training again, I can maybe see Rockhold versus Bisping trilogy. Rockhold gets one. It doesn't matter who he beats. He wins a fight. I mean, he beat Bisping before, so he deserves that trilogy shot. But if they don't go that route, and they don't go Weidman Jacare, maybe they'll go Chris Weidman versus Rockhold. If Rockhold gets past Branch, who knows? I don't know what they're gonna do, but it's in a weird spot right now. So anyway, I just wanted to give my take. But hats off to Chris Weidman. I mean, true championship material. Everyone was doubting him, and he performed, and he in front of his hometown. I mean, you can't write a better script. It's a great inspirational thing that he did, and he overcame. So hats off to Chris Weidman. Can't wait to see his next fight and who he fights. But that's it for this one. If you liked the video, subscribe. Check me out on Twitter at MMA Boxing Talk 1. Peace.